All right, I'm on hole number 7 of the 2021 Summer Major, hole number 7 of Wiseacre Ranch. I have decided that I am going to just go ahead and try and qualify today, just play the round out and just try and, because I think the way, because they're so brand new, that if you can come in with a 13 or 14, a 14 plus especially, so if I can pick one of these last 3 holes up and put me in the 14 range, I think that that'll be a good tiebreaker. I think as the week goes on, that may not be, like as the week goes on, a 14 is probably not going to be the best round we can look for. But right now, with the holes being as new as they are, since we haven't got to play them, and we can't play them in one-on-one, we can only play them if you're playing practice tokens. That right now is a good time to, as long as you can play the minimum score and try and pick at least one shot up. And I picked up one. Haven't had a perfect round. I haven't been hitting a lot of perfect shots, but I did pick up hole number 4. So if I can pick up one of these last 3, it will help me out. And so we got a par 4 right here. And this par 4, I haven't decided how I'm going to play. So what happened? What happened is I came out here the first time, and here's what I noticed. That if you got a tailwind, with a 3 power ball, my red line was in here, and I was using my extra mile, so it's 2.1 per ring, and I had 2 and maybe even a little bit of room, and I believe in that video it was like 2.9 wind. And so I had a good solid 2 rings of separation where I was going to be in the rough, and I left the wind in because I was 4 miles an hour away from the fairway. And so the first time I came out here, I think the wind was more neutral, and I did clip that rough, and I bled out into this area and had a pretty decent shot coming in. You're a little, because of where this rough is, you need to bring a club. Let me look at my notes here. I believe I was in my long iron, short iron. You need to bring a club that's got some backspin so that you can, because there's no rough here. It's just sand fairway. The second time I came out on this hole, I had this wind right here. So the first time I was with this neutral wind, I did the rough up, and I ended up out here. I got a shot that I wanted. The second time I came out, I had the 2.9, 2 rings of separation, and it carried the ball to where I was about a half a ring into the fairway, and it went bounce number 1, bounce number 2, made it over, clipped the rough, and bled me out right into this area right here, and had this little shot. Scary as hell, because if you clip the rough right here, you're going directly into the drink. And that is out of bounds. OB. Okay? And there's no, like, some holes we take some big shots. I can think of one par 4 in particular. We do a max over par hook shot on, and if you get it wrong, you end up in the drink. You do not change your MO. You go right back to the max over par hook, because if you can achieve the shot, you're up on the green, you got a short little pitch, and you can recover. But here, you're going to end up, it could be very problematic. So I'm not sure, even if we had the right kind of wind, that I want to take that bounce that he bounced to try and get over. Now with a power 5 ball, see what it is your first bounce, and then you've got to get your second bounce to hit in this fairway in order to get the second bounce to clear so that you can make it over. And so we're really going to have to watch this wind, because if we have a headwind, and say we got a tailwind, and here it carried it 4 plus on a 2.9 wind. So let's just round that up to 3. That means we'd had to count like a 30% wind. And so if we're doing a headwind, it could be very problematic to make sure that you always get that second bounce in the right spot so that you can clear to get over. Let's see what kind of wind we have here today. And this may be one of those holes that and we're getting a pretty neutral wind right now, where you may want to have several ideas in your head as far as how you want to play it. Now, I believe that I brought my Apocalypse so that I got that extra raw distance. I played it several times. It'd be one of those two, and I'm going to bring it tight. But if I'm going to do that, I want to make sure I have something with good backspin. So I got 70 in my Grizzly. I was able to get it done with my Grizzly, but I'm not sure if I took that I'm going to take that bag. Maybe one of those two bags. Now, I could bring out a bigger ball, and I may, just to try it out. Because if we can get over to the other side, if the bounces look good, where we can give ourselves enough room out there so that even if we get the wind a little bit wrong, we can still get the second bounce to clip the fairway to get us over, it might be worth doing it. But we're really going to have to watch our wind on this drive, because I do believe that we have to account for it. And we're definitely not going to be able to make it over with that ball. Let's try power 5 just to see what it looks like. You can see where the second bounce is there, but if I put enough topspin in order to actually get over, you can see where the second bounce is at. Man. All right, Rain Kingmaker. And I'm going to just try and bounce it through the rough and just try and get over to the other fairway. And take this shot from here. I think consistency wise, this will work. So my opponent got some good info there as far as what's possible with these winds. All right, are they going to try a max over power hook? They might be trying to max over power hook here. And we're going to get some good information here as well. So they were able to, I believe, cut some distance to the hole. No, not much. There's max. There's min. We're pretty close to mid club, which is 1.1 per ring. I might need to bring a club that's got a little bit more backspin. I was playing against Headwind the other day and it laid this ball way down, so I'm going to be right on the hole. So I'm at mid club, it's 1.1 per ring, so that's 2, and that leaves me 2. It's about 2 1/5. Hitting it perfect. And it blew me off the hole just a little bit. I'm going to make a note here, plus 10 to cup. At least in that kind of headwind. But I did notice the other day we had the same kind of headwind the other day, and I was right in front of the cup. And with that much backspin, it's not going to come back, but it will pretty much come to a stop. But it came to a stop, and I was a good square off. So I wanted to get right up on it. Let's see what kind of wind adjustment my opponent makes. There's 1, 2. They did 2 1/3. Hit it great to the left. That should be to the left. Well, you hit it great to the left. What were you expecting? It went great to the left. If it didn't go great to the left, then you got to start going, wow, what just happened? Which is why you need to record your own gameplay, so that when that stuff happens, you can go back and you can watch it and see what the hell happened. Half the time I find out when I did that, I actually made a bad wind adjustment. And the other half of the time I go, wow, I really should have. That you're going to have to make a big wind adjustment on there. On, you know, you're going to have to add on like 20 or 30% because I ended up going to the left. I hit to the left and I ended up on the right hand side. You know, that's not good. It's not good. I'm still undecided on how I want to play this hole. I look at. I think consistency-wise, that's probably the area. I think my opponent was trying to get more distance up into here so that you could clear this sand and have a little bit better shot at it. But with where our red line area is at, even with the power 3 ball and, you know, some of the longest hitting clubs in the game, the Apocalypse and the Extra Mile, you know, we're in this area. So just being able to clear it with a power 5 ball, and then what happens with the power 5 ball, your second bounce could become problematic getting over. So this hole is going to be a little bit trickier. But I think consistency-wise, hitting right to this area. Now, my opponent the other day, and I went back and tried this shot out. I was going to try the shot out, and then I ended up hitting out here twice. But what my opponent did the other day was they started off right here, and they laid it up to here so that they had a straight in sniper shot to the cup, as opposed to having to do the backspin shot from here. And this might not be bad. Let's go try that. I'll give you guys some more bonus content. We're doing all kinds of bonus content today. Let's do a practice. How many practice tokens I got? I got one. Hang on, let me put a T on. Let me get one of those. Let me get one of those T's. And where is the T? This one right here. Let's reload it. Let's go out there and play that hole. And I'm going to play to that side over there. Yeah. All right, Ricky. Hole number 7. We'll play over to the left-hand side just so that I can see. I like getting into long iron, short iron. I mean, obviously the closer you can get, the better. But you've got to make it out of that rough. And I don't like the fact that we got to do max overpower. Because if we get our wind adjustment wrong, especially if we have tailwind, we could end up missing it, and then it could really screw us up. Whereas hitting over to an area like this, you know, you may be relegated to hitting it with a wood on a regular into the cup, but it's going to be super consistent, and you can work that shot out. And you got a straight in shot, and you don't have to use backspin. I'm going to switch to a Titan just because we're practicing. Two 7. It's 2-7. Hit one ring great to the right. See how much distance I left out. I don't know that getting all the way to the fairway or all the way to the rough on the other side is that important as far as on your arc. It's clearing the sand up here. So getting out into this range so that you're clear of the sand so you got a straight in shot is what's important. I don't know if getting all the way over there is the key. You could probably be a little short of that. You don't have to risk it that much. But if you're trying to hit like up into this area right here, now you still got to contend with the sand. You might be able to do like my opponent's doing and be a little bit closer and still be able to work yourself around the sand with a little bit of side spin. This is the first time I've taken the shot over to this side. So my opponent being there, that's going to help us out quite a bit. That's going to tell us. You can see, I think the sand's still going to be in their way. I think I'm going to have a straight in shot, and they're still going to have to contend with the sand. So I do have a nice straight in shot. There's max club. There's min. So I'm at minimum club, which is 1.3 per ring. Let me bring my calculator out. 3.3 divided by 1.3. I'm just going to do a straight up shot. It's 2.5 rings. There's 2.5 rings. Let's see if we can hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. Give us a good idea of how it's rolling out to the cup. Just a bit outside, and the wind pushed me off. So once again, we may need to do a little bit of an adjustment there. Doesn't that look like it's uphill from the cup, or from where we were teeing off at? My opponent still can clear it. Now if they pull, I want to see where the red line is. Well, they got a one power ball, not a 3 power ball. So from where my opponent's at, you may be able to get into your max long iron. That might not be a bad area to hit out there, because then we don't have to contend with the sand. And I love backspin shots, and if you've watched my stuff for a long time, I used to, like on par 3s, like, hey, some of these par 3s are real risky, so go up there and pound that sucker in with a backspin club. If it goes in, it goes in. If it doesn't, get your birdie and go to the next hole. But the par 3s have become so important to winning tournaments that you've got to be able to pick some of them up. So some of them you have to take a few risks on. But on holes like this, I think that we may have be more consistent if we can try and run it in. So let's go look at that hole one more time. I really think I might start playing that. I might play that hole this way. So with a power 3 ball and a rock, my red line was up in this area. I did have enough room where I could pull back a little bit from the red line to work out forward moving wind and still start off on this side. And I was like up in this area, somewhere up in that area, so I had this straight in shot and the sand wasn't contending. My opponent was right here, and so in order to get to the cup, they did have to put on a little bit of side spin. But from where I was at, I was pretty damn close to minimum club with a power 3 ball. So if you think about arc, like they were inside my arc, so they might have been right at maximum long iron if they would have pulled back a little bit, where you have to put on a little bit of topspin. So like just getting down into this area and still being able to clear the sand on the outside. I think if you'd have been any more in this direction, you'd probably you may not be able to bring it around unless you brought a big side spin ball. So like this might be our target area right here, as opposed to with a red line on a 3 power ball with an extra mile and an apocalypse here, trying to hit out in this area. Now I did get that bounce that he bounced to get over to here, and if you're over here, it is beautiful. I mean beautiful. But I don't think we can always count on that. Even with a big power ball, I don't think we can count on it just because of the variable wind. This may be a more consistent area out here, like right in this zone. I'm gonna continue to do some research on this hole and continue to think about what my options are before I make a final determination on how I really want to play it. The jury's still out. All right. That was hole number 7 of the 2021 Summer Major. Hole number 7 of the Wiseacre Ranch. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.